Hey guys, I'm back here over at what's that? Premium Coach here in Gilbert, Arizona, and guess what? I have a 2018 King Aire that I'm gonna go ahead and do an inspection on. I'm gonna do the roof inspection right now. That you guys might want to tag along and take a look at it with me. This is a 2018 King Aire. I think it has about 37,000 miles on it. Let's get on the roof. All right, now King Aire from Newmar does things a little bit differently, though the Dutch stars aren't too dissimilar. So you can see we have Girard awnings. We have two Girard box awnings on the right, and on the left-hand side, these are just fake valance panels. So they are just fiberglass. They don't do anything. They just balance out that side. This is a gel coat fiberglass roof, and it has this strange bump up right here for the rear bath area so that you have a little bit more headroom in there. So this is all one-piece molded fiberglass, just like the rest of the roof, but it has a one-piece molded to contour. So it's actually, I couldn't call this a seamless roof, but it's nearly seamless. Let's go ahead and get on the roof. All right, so this just came in. I don't know how much it costs. I would probably get with the guys, the sales force at Premium Coach Group. I'm just doing the inspection here. So when I talk about nearly seamless, so this is the rear cap right here, and this is the rear bathroom ceiling, and it is seamed. So they didn't body work it. They did seal it really well, and rather than putting the effort into body working it, they just put some Eternabond over the top. You could probably rip this off, and it would still be sealed just as fine without that on there. There's just going to be flashing to help prevent issues. As far as the sealant goes, this seems like an acrylic self-leveling, like a Dicor. This has 1, 2, 3, 4 solar panels. So these are flat roll solar panels. Maybe we can get some information over there on what the wattage is on them. This little guy right here is another one of those little gimmicks manufacturers like to use. This is a battery maintainer that doesn't do anything other than charge the chassis battery. And it doesn't charge a chassis battery, it just maintains a fully charged chassis battery. Come over here. Sealant on this vent looks great. I don't see any damages to that roof tape. We grab the valance right here. Wiggle it, make sure it's not loose. And we're going to check all the sealant around here. We will peer over the side right here. Again, you should be able to see. Wait, can you see? There's my fingers right there. So water doesn't get stuck underneath right here. But we should go ahead and inspect for any issues. Looks like we got a kind of a gutter that redirects water. It's a pretty interesting channel they went ahead with. All that sealant looks good. So yeah, it's sealed underneath this trim right here, just with clear sealant. So they eliminated a pretty good seam right there by having the seal on the side. We'll go ahead and inspect the awning fabrics. So on this topper, this is going to be a Girard slide out topper. They still have this, is it still hemmed or seamed? You can kind of make out each one of those seams. But instead of having stitching, remember the stitching that I always point out breaks? These are now all ultrasonic welded. So they don't, the seams don't give out on those. Now, of course, this one strangely only has 3 ACs. Newmar with their Dutch stars and their King Aires, the ceiling panels make it, well, it's difficult to check the air filters on that. That's one thing. That's the one thing that'll go down below. I'll show you how to check the air filters on those, because it kind of made it difficult to check if you don't know how to check those filters, a little bit like Monaco. So you have to drop the ceiling panel in order to check the air filters. So I will take you down there and we'll see how it goes. Right here we just have our Winegard Traveler. Now this is DirecTV. You can just kind of tell by the dish itself. But all of our sealant looks good. I don't know if they could have packed much more on this roof here. If you take a look at it, there's not even a lot of walking around space. We'll just check over here. That fabric looks good. Sealant looks good. Vent cap looks good. And AC is not loose. And they're calling each one of these panels 100 watts. So I guess we have 400 watts of solar on here. One thing I have noticed on these, when I get up to it, I'll point it out to you. Something important to know on those. Alright, so we're going to have to do more work than I'd planned on doing. I'm going to go ahead and check underneath. So these are Max Aire vent covers. And you can see the fantastic vent. The leaves got stuck under there, but we're looking fine there. Alright, so that's put back together. We'll continue our inspection. Here's going to be the junction boxes for those awning motors, which is nice because sometimes they run this to the ceiling and then you can't. It makes changing out these motors a lot more work. A lot of work. Still a lot of work either way. These little plugs come out so you can get access to manually crank those awnings in if you need to. Just pop it off. I think it's an Allen key again. So as we get over to here, we'll check that AC. That AC is good. This solar panel looks fine. This little awning balance isn't loose. And now we're going to get to a heck of a lot more things going on up here. You'll notice there's a satellite dish right there. And then another one right there. These King Aires come up with 2 satellites, one for when you're parked, and then another one right there for in motion. This one should be able to do DirecTV and Dish Network. The other stationary one will just do DirecTV. This one won't give you high definition on DirecTV, but that one will give you high definition on DirecTV, but it won't give you Dish Network. This one would give you high definition on Dish Network, but not on DirecTV. I don't know why everything's got to be so complicated. And got another solar panel right there. AC is not loose. Come over to here. Right here is the combiner box for all these solar panels. This comes from Tyco Electronics, which was out of Tucson, Arizona, I thought. And I think they actually don't exist anymore. What I have noticed is that these connectors right here, because these are all plastic, they can get pretty brittle. And if somebody steps on them, they will just snap off and you can't get a replacement on that. So you have to rebuild that or just change out all these to just normal combiner plugs. That's what the factory is recommending. Alright, we'll do another vent inspection, which is of course why I don't really like these vent covers. But at least these aren't bolt down ones. Okay, sealant looks good, vent looks good. Gotta put you guys down and put that back on again. Alright, so that's back on again. I'll finish up this inspection. This is a 2018, probably made in 17, and it's 2021, so we really shouldn't be finding anything wrong with it. This is going to be your TV antenna from Winegard. It's a directional, but it's in the dome unit. You can control it from the inside. And then we have a whole bunch of cell phone and wireless antennas up here. So obviously you have your Wi-Fi Ranger. You have this combiner box again for all these cellular antennas. So you have one there, and there, and there. Wi-Fi Ranger. I don't know. Got to be a telecommunications engineer now to work on these things. And these, of course, are just going to be your GPS for navigation and your Sirius XM. Peer over the top on that front cap. And again, you can see this seam right here, that roof tape. I don't blame them for not body working it. They'd be completely invisible, basically. Now, there is one more seam right there where that bathroom roof meets the main roof. So I'll get you a better look on it right there. So here's that last seam. So again, it doesn't feel loose. We should be okay. And what I didn't point out is they've upgraded their Newmar upgraded their vents that they were using, so no more of those plastic ones that are falling apart on the sewer vents. These are the ones that last a lot longer. Now that's pretty much the roof inspection. This turned out perfectly fine. It's in great shape. Nothing's wrong with it. Now these 4 solar panels go to that combiner box, and then it goes to a Schneider electric charge controller down below. My only real, how do I put this, critique of the whole solar setup on this is those awnings, those valance panels are going to cast mostly shade. The only time you'll ever get any real direct sunlight on these is if the sun's completely overhead for about 3 or 4 hours. After that, it's going to be nominal again because they went with such flat roof, such panels. And these aren't going to be something you can angle or direct. But I would also say that this is a rig that likely should be in the park most of the time. Not too much off-grid, off-site camping on this one. All right, let's go inside and I'll take a look at that ceiling panel for you guys. All right, so let's get in this thing. So it's a little dirty. Well, I mean, not filthy dirty, just it came in. So to get to these air filters on here, what you're gonna have to do is drop this panel right here. Don't waste your time trying to undo these things right there. This will give you access to nothing at all. It's just decorative. And then these are siliconed on and you're gonna have a hard time putting them on again. What you're gonna do is come over here to the passenger side. On this one, there's 4 of them. As you guys can see, there's a latch right there. Put your finger in and pull down on it. Just like that. Do that for the other 3. So with all those 4 undone, you can lower it down. It's got these straps so it's not going to fall anymore. Now you can get those AC filters, pop those down, and then rinse them out and put them back into place. So that's how you're going to get to those. It's not fair that the factory does that to you. Now you can see these latches a lot better. You're just going to be pushing down on it right there. It's easier with 2 people. One person can be pushing up on it or supporting it. And of course, the bedroom one's going to be very, very similar. Right, in the bedroom. So that's going to be that one. So obviously to put it back, you're just going to push up on it. You go ahead and make sure all of them snap in. Pull down, pull down, pull down, because that thing's pretty heavy. You don't want that thing to crack you in the skull. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for joining me on that roof inspection. Hopefully, if you have a King Aire, now you know how to check your AC filters. It's kind of important to do periodically. I have to finish up the inspection on this. I have a water heater I need to replumb. If I have time after all that, do a little tour of this one with you guys. Andrew Steele's not in town right now, so you'll have to get a poor man's Andrew Steele version. Make sure I give a shout out to Andrew Steele, RVing with Andrew Steele. He does a much better job on these than I do. Thanks a lot, guys.